By 2100, Europe's population will have crashed from 750 million to barely 570 million. The continent that once conquered the world will have more people over 85 than any other age group. Ghost villages already dot Italy and Spain. Pension systems are creaking. Hospitals are filled with patients who have no children to care for them. Politicians call it a national emergency. Elon Musk calls it the biggest threat to civilization. Yet almost no one under 35 can afford home ownership, childcare, or even a decent wedding. We told women to get educated and join the workforce, then punished them for delaying motherhood. We promised endless growth, then delivered wage stagnation and impossible housing. The same people who panicked about overpopulation in the 1970s now panic about collapse. Both sides can't be right. So which is it? Is Europe sleepwalking into economic ruin and geopolitical irrelevance? Or is a smaller, older, richer continent exactly what a burnt-out planet needs? Stay until the end, because the answer will surprise you. Story. Let's start with the brutal numbers. Italy just recorded its lowest number of births since the unification of the country in 1861. Not the Black Death. Not World War II. 2024. Only 379,000 babies were born to 59 million people. That's a fertility rate of 1.20 children per woman, one of the lowest ever recorded anywhere, anytime. Italy is not an outlier. Spain 1.19, Malta 1.08, Greece 1.32, Germany 1.46, France 1.68. Still catastrophic, just less so because of immigration. The replacement level needed to keep a population stable without immigration is 2.1. Europe as a whole is at 1.5 and falling. The UN says Europe loses roughly 1 million people net every year now. By 2100, the continent will have fewer inhabitants than it did in 1940, despite all medical progress. Look at the population pyramids. Today they look like slightly lopsided Christmas trees. By 2080, they look like upside-down pyramids balanced on the trembling shoulders of the over 85s. In Italy, the largest single age group in 2100 will be 90 to 94-year-olds. This is not some distant sci-fi scenario. It is locked in. Even if every European woman suddenly started having 4 children tomorrow, impossible. The momentum of aging would still carry us forward for decades. So what does this actually cost? Italy already spends 16.4% of GDP on pensions, highest in the OECD after Greece. The EU average is 13%. Britain is only at 9% today, but the Office for Budget Responsibility says that if trends continue, state pension spending alone will hit 25% of GDP by the 2070s. Healthcare spending follows the same curve. An 85-year-old costs the health system roughly 7 times more than a 40-year-old. Dementia cases in Italy are projected to rise from 1.2 million today to 2.2 million by 2050. The average annual cost per patient is estimated at 70,000 euros, before you count the unpaid care from relatives who have to quit jobs. Meanwhile, the tax base shrinks. Fewer workers, lower consumption, falling house prices in rural areas, empty schools closing, entire villages with median age 65 plus. Japan has been living this reality for 20 years. Deflationary mindset, zombie companies kept alive by cheap debt, GDP per capita growth almost flat since 1995. Europe is about to get the Japan treatment, but with worse demographics and higher debt. National debts exploded after 2008, COVID, and the Ukraine energy shock. Interest rates that were negative or zero for a decade are now 3 to 5%. The UK's debt interest bill alone is £110 billion this year, more than it spends on education. Every extra percentage point on Italian or Spanish debt costs tens of billions that could have gone to childcare or hospitals. Governments have 3 theoretical options. Raise taxes dramatically on a shrinking workforce. Cut pensions and healthcare. Political suicide. See France's yellow vests when Macron tried to raise retirement age by 2 years. Default or inflate the debt away. Destroy savings of the elderly who vote. None are pretty. So is this the end of European civilization as we know it? Maybe not. Remember Thomas Malthus in 1798? He predicted mass starvation because the population grows geometrically while food grows arithmetically. He was spectacularly wrong. Technology and markets exploded food production beyond anyone's imagination. Today's demographic doomers might be making the same mistake in reverse. First, productivity. Artificial intelligence and robotics are arriving exactly when we need them most. Japan again is the laboratory. It has the world's highest robot density and has managed 1 to 2% annual labor productivity growth, despite a population decline of 800,000 people per year. Elderly care robots already bathe, lift, and monitor patients. SoftBank's Pepper robot reads emotions. Amazon's warehouses are almost fully automated. If AI delivers even half of what the optimists claim, one worker in 2050 could produce what 4 or 5 do today. Tax the economic surplus created by machines and you can fund pensions without destroying incentives. Second, energy. Solar panel costs have fallen 90% in 15 years. Battery storage is collapsing in price. Geothermal is scaling fast. Iceland already has essentially free heating. Next-generation nuclear, small modular reactors, fusion pilots, could deliver abundant clean energy by 2040 to 2050. Abundant energy equals abundant everything. Desalination solves water shortages. Vertical farming solves food. Direct air capture becomes economical. A world of energy abundance looks nothing like the scarcity mindset of today. Third, housing. The biggest single reason young Europeans give for not having children is cost of space. In a shrinking population, housing becomes dramatically cheaper. Japan's countryside already has 0 yen houses. Beautiful traditional homes given away because no one wants them. Italy has €1 house schemes in dying villages. Fewer people equals falling real estate prices in most places equals suddenly 3-bedroom apartments become affordable for average salaries equals birth rates bounce. Fourth, the environment. Global emissions are driven by population times consumption. If rich countries reduce population while maintaining or raising living standards, emissions fall sharply. Europe's carbon footprint could have by 2100 simply from demographics, buying the world crucial time. Fifth, meaning. John Maynard Keynes thought that by 2030 his grandchildren would work 15-hour weeks thanks to technology. He was right about productivity, wrong about the culture. We turned abundance into both spouses working 50 hours to pay a mortgage. But cultural change is possible. A society with fewer young people competing for status might rediscover slower living, family time, and community care. Robots do the drudgery, humans look after humans. The risks are real. If AI profits are captured by a handful of tech giants who offshore everything, governments get nothing and inequality explodes. If geopolitical rivals with young populations, Nigeria, Pakistan, Indonesia, keep growing while Europe shrinks, the global balance of power shifts dramatically. And yes, being cared for by machines in old age sounds bleak to many. We are human beings, not economic units. Loneliness is already the silent epidemic of our time. But here's the punchline. The same forces that caused the birth rate collapse, women's education, urbanization, secularism, contraception, are not going away. No amount of patriotic duty speeches or €10,000 baby bonuses will reverse them. Hungary has spent 5% of GDP on pronatalist policies and barely moved the needle. We can fight the tide with ever more desperate measures, or we can adapt. A smaller Europe could be an older, wiser, greener, richer per person Europe. One that finally escapes the growth trap, taxes robots instead of people, enjoys abundant energy and housing, and rediscovers time. The 20th century was the story of too many people. The 21st might be the story of not enough, and how we turned it into something beautiful. The choice isn't between collapse and endless growth. It's between despair and reinvention. Europe still gets to choose.